Hello there. Alan here. Hey, welcome. And I'll say hi to my new subscribers. If you're new here, make a comment below. I'll reply to you and I'll start tagging you in tags. I'm here to do the Used Bookstore Tag. Now, this tag was originated by Kelly at Books I'm Not Reading. Link to her channel below in the description box. And I was tagged by and mentioned in David Novak. David Novak reads poetry in his tag. In fact, he mentioned me on West Coast booktubers he'd like to go book shopping with. So thanks, Dave. I appreciate it. And I've got the prompts here, got the answers here. So let's get to it. I'm going to tag about a dozen people or more. So stay tuned for that. Prompt 1. What is your favorite or most often visited used bookstore, and what sets it apart or makes it so special? Well, glad you asked. My favorite local bookstore is Powell's City of Books. I live in Portland, Oregon, and one of the great things about living here is Powell's Bookstore. And it is literally a city block long building that's 5 stories high of new and used books and coffee shop and assorted book paraphernalia and goodies and t-shirts and bags and chocolates. And Powell's is the largest independent bookstore in the world. And I could put up the statistics up here, but just Google it. In the world. They have maps to get around the store, and I'll answer more in the prompts below. But I looked for some bookmarks and couldn't find any Powell's bookmarks because I send them out to people who I correspond with. And maps as well. I don't even have a Powell's t-shirt, but I bought many. Prompt 2. Where's my phone? Prompt 2. Does your used bookstore take credit? If so, how much credit do you get for your books? Do they give cash for your books? Why, yes, they do. Now, BC, before COVID, Powell's would every day of the week take used books. I also have several vlogs on Powell's, and I'll link a few in the description box below. But I have a lot of playlists, and one of my playlists is Portland-related videos. So my vlogs on Powell's will be in that playlist, but I'll link some below. I was there recently. But yes, now they only take used books for trade or cash on Fridays. But yeah, they have a separate entrance for that, and it's all a separate part. It's a really cool process. People come in with boxes of books and they zip through them. It's really cool. I've done cash and I've done credit. Obviously prefer credit. It always seems to be a buyer's market, though, doesn't it? Whether I'm selling books or records. Prompt 3, record albums. Prompt 3, how often do you go to your used bookstore? Can you share how much credit you have there? Well, I was there just a few weeks ago with Christopher Evanstar, and there's another. I'm trying to slow myself down because I want to answer some of the questions that are coming later. But I don't have any credit at the moment. I even looked at my cards, and I don't have a Powell's card. So Pardon me, doing a Marco Rubio, huh? I go fairly often, a couple times a month, whenever I'm down there, downtown. For what, if any, restrictions does your used bookstore have, or have, or how can you use your credit? You can use your credit on anything in the store. Doesn't have to be books. Um, you get more for credit than cash, of course. Uh, Pretty easy answer. I want to make sure I'm answering these. Um, okay. 5. How is your used bookstore organized? Good question. What do you like or dislike about how it's organized? I love how it's organized because it's organized in rooms and by color. Yeah. So I know like the purple room is metaphysical new age. They have tarot cards and that up there and all kinds of, I think philosophy's up there as well. And um, you got orange is the fiction, new, and that's by alphabetical order, what you get in the room. And the gold room is science fiction, and that's where you go to the Gold Cup coffee shop. Wish I had a map to show you. I used to have one pinned on my wall. I usually have some. Write me, I'll send you one. Guaranteed. Okay, here we're going to get into some good stuff. Prop 6. What is the best find or deal that you got at a used bookstore? Well, I've worked at used bookstores primarily in Arizona. Here's an old bookmark from Changing Hands Bookstore, Mill Avenue, Tempe. That's from the 90s. And they had that girl's name. She did a bookmark, and they had a little contest for kids. It was a really cool bookstore. But we'd find a lot of finds. One of I wish I still had this book by Catherine Yates, spelled differently, but it's about W.B. Yeats and the Golden Dawn, his hermetic, magical life. And now the book, if you want to buy it, is like $75, stuff like that. Also in Tempe, I was friendly with a book estate salesman. He had a huge bookstore, but then he'd have estate sales and that. One time I had to unload a bunch of books, and he came to my house and bought them. I didn't even have to take them all in there. 7. I have some more books. Well, here's like a Friends of the Library book sale from Portland, and here's one from your friend and mine, MJ. Yeah, if you write MJ, she'll send you some bookmarks. More Friends of the Library bookmark. Prompt 7. Is there something you saw at your used bookstore and now regret not purchasing it? In a way, there was a nice, big, collected works of Shakespeare that was really nice and illustrated. Great coffee table book. But if you're like me, I have a lot of Shakespeare up there. Well, a dozen or so plays. But who's going to sit and read a collection of, if you go to read Shakespeare, who wants to read it in a big book? No one. You want to be able to read it. I also would like to get the coffee table book Man on Wire, the Philippe Petit guy who walked the tightrope between the Twin Towers, World Trade Center, and they have photos. A great documentary. Prompt 8. Is there a book you're always on the hunt for at your used bookstore? Yes, we're on the hunt for the collected fiction of Borges. I'm always got my eye out for that. The Brothers K is currently $18 on Amazon by Michael Katz version. We're going to do a group read of that next year. Brothers Karamazov, if you're interested, let me know. there'll be announcements. But at Powell's, it's $20. So I'll spend the extra $2 to buy it at Powell's if it's still there. They only had one copy last time I was there. So that's what I look for when I go to Powell's. Usually I'm meeting someone there or, like that. That brings us to the next question. 9. If you could run a used bookstore for a day, what changes would you make? I would just have a super sale. Now, if you're talking about like opening my own small little bookstore, I'd have a lot of different things. Like I'd probably serve tea, like they used to at the Bodie bookstore in L.A. Anybody know the Bodie bookstore? I don't think it's there anymore, but it was like 2 buildings. Really cool. They had a great metaphysical bookstore, then a used bookstore. They served free tea back in the day. 10. This is a great question. If you could go used book shopping with any booktuber in any city, who would you go with and where? Now, I've been to Chicago several times. I love Chicago. The Amtrak between Toledo, Ohio, and Chicago a couple times. I've flown into Chicago O'Hare a handful of times. I had to do a loop flyover for a while at night. It was great. I loved it. Looking out. And so many booktubers I'd like to go visiting with, but I have had opportunities, Greg in Fredericksburg, but a lot of booktubers, when they visit Portland, lucky enough, they'll ring me up and ask me to visit them, and I go to Powell's. Like Jim, Jim reads too slow. Him and his wife have been here a couple times. We always go out to eat. Greg and his better half, Chris, have been here once a couple years ago, and definitely I know Greg's favorite spot in Powell's. Go look the vintage paperbacks and like the sci-fi stuff for collectible covers and things. Who else? Christopher Evanstar and I hang out, go to Powell's. We saw Chuck Palahniuk there. His new book coming out, which I forget, but his most famous one might be Fight Club. So tag some booktubers. I'll be glad to. Hey, I think I'm going to tag Pat at Book Chat with Pat for the first time. MJ, I don't think she's been tagged. Greg at Another Big Blue File Reads. Dane at Dane Reads in London. Roy Reads Anything over on the pond. James at Quaint and Curious Volumes. Debs, Deb Rayner Reads. Gareth at Book Songs and Other Magic. Cristina at Knitting Books, etc. Hannah at Hannah Reads. And Christopher Evanstar. Who else? Let's see. Oh yeah, I didn't mention the commenter extraordinaire Patricia H. We've been to Powell several times. She used to work here and lives in Washington now. So if you're ever in the area, send me a note. We'll go to Powell's and have lunch somewhere. So that is the Used Bookstore Tag. If you're watching this, you tag, make a comment. I'll reply back to you. All right, talk to you later.